Welcome back to the deep dive.
Hello, everyone. Today we are getting into something really interesting. We're looking at linguistics, how people learn, and just what works.
Yeah, that's right. Our sources today are a bit different. We've actually looked at the transcripts from a lot of the most popular English learning podcasts for beginners, for people at that A1, A2 level.
Right, we're on the front lines here.
We really are. And our mission isn't just to, repeat the lessons you might hear there.
No, not at all. We want to pull out the strategy behind it. Why these topics? Why these specific words or phrases? It's like we're looking at the blueprint for building English fluency.
It's almost a shortcut to understanding how to learn English well.
That's it, exactly.
We've got material with practice conversations, different situations, and maybe the most important part, some really simple things you can do every day to build good language habits.
Right, and I'll be focused on the why. Why do these simple tips give you such a big result for really not a lot of effort? We're trying to connect the specific words to the bigger goal, which is just feeling confident when you speak.
Okay, let's get into it. The first thing we noticed is where these lessons all start. They begin with these core conversations that every new speaker needs to know. And it seems like the first big theme is always about making a choice, about comparing things. The classic one we saw everywhere was village life versus city life.
Yes, and that's not a random choice. It's not because, villages are so fascinating.
Right.
It's chosen because it forces you, the learner, to start comparing things right away. You have to learn how to argue for one side and then for the other. It's a fundamental skill.
It really builds the foundation. And to do that, the sources give learners a really useful little phrase right at the beginning. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. It's so common. And it's basically just a simple, quick way to say advantages and disadvantages.
Or merits and demerits, which sounds a little more formal.
A bit more formal, yeah. But the key thing for you as a learner is that this one little phrase, pros and cons, it sets up the whole conversation. It tells the person you're talking to that you're going to give a balanced view, the good and the bad.
So let's break down how they teach this. What are the main advantages, the pros of village life?
Well, the focus is really on quality of life. The sources describe it as being more peaceful, for one.
Okay, peaceful.
And closer to nature. These are simple words, easy to remember, but they paint a clear picture.
And there's a big social element, too, isn't there? The way people interact.
A huge one. One transcript really stressed that people are just more friendly and helpful in a village.
Right.
And that's so important for A1 practice. It lets you talk about community, about support. The sources say that in villages, people have closer relationships. They help each other when someone is in need.
Without even being asked sometimes.
Exactly. It's a great chance to practice verbs like to support, or a phrase like in times of need.
Okay, so that's the good side. What about the cons? The disadvantages of village life?
The main one is about infrastructure. The facilities, things like big hospitals, universities, major entertainment venues, they're just not as advanced as in the city.
And that phrase, not as advanced as, is a key structure for beginners, isn't it?
It's fundamental for making comparisons, yeah.
So that sets up the argument for the city perfectly. What are the big pros of city life, according to these practice talks?
The city wins on, I'd say, three main things, all about possibility. First, opportunities.
Okay.
More opportunities for education, for employment, which is, just a more formal word for work and for entertainment. There's just more choice.
And the second big pro is something a bit more intellectual, I guess.
Yeah, it's diversity. The city exposes you to so many different cultures, different people, different ideas. And the phrase they use for this is really important for a learner to know.
What's that?
It can broaden one's perspective.
Broaden one's perspective. That's a great phrase. It's a step up from just simple description.
It is. It's about the consequence, the effect it has on you. It shows your thinking on a deeper level.
But of course, the city has its downsides. The cons are pretty obvious ones.
The classics, yeah. It's more crowded, there's more pollution, and of course the traffic. Always the traffic.
So after a learner has practiced saying the pros and cons for both, what's the final takeaway? What's the expert advice?
The main point is that there's no right answer. It's a personal choice. The key phrase they use is that it depends on an individual's priorities and lifestyle.
So do you want a quiet, simple life?
Or do you want a fast-paced, dynamic life? Fast-paced is a great term. It means everything is happening quickly, lots of energy. By putting those two against each other, quiet versus fast-paced, it helps you build your vocabulary.
And the final piece of advice is just to appreciate both, right?
Exactly, to have a balance, and if you can, experience both ways of life. It's a perfect structure for learning how to build an argument.
It really is. Okay, moving on from where you live. The next big A1 debate topic we saw was about pets. Specifically, getting a dog.
Right, and this is a great next step because it moves the conversation from things like geography to things like responsibility and emotional connection.
So what are the arguments against getting a pet that beginners learn to talk about?
It's all about the commitment. Pets are a lot of work, a lot of responsibility,
Daily feeding, walking.
all of that. And they also introduce health issues. Maybe you have allergies or someone in your family does.
And the other big one, which I think a lot of people worry about, is just the mess.
Oh, absolutely. The mess, the potential for damage to your furniture, your carpets. And this is where they introduce language about what you need to do. They need proper training and care so they don't cause problems.
But then, of course, you have the arguments for getting a pet, which are really strong.
Very strong. The sources emphasize the emotional side. They say it can be really rewarding.
A great companion.
Exactly. They can help reduce stress. They're just there for you. When you're feeling sad or worried.
And there's a practical benefit, too, isn't there? The
Ah.
exercise part.
Yes. A dog gives you reason to get active. You have to go outside. You have to walk them. It's good for you, too.
So what's the conclusion of that debate?
The lessons all come back to being prepared. You have to do your research before you decide. And if you do get a pet, you have to provide that proper training and care. It shows that learning a language isn't just for fun chats. It's also for talking about serious decisions.
Right. And from a serious decision, we move to something even more complex for a new speaker, navigating an emotional situation.
A really difficult one. The scenario is about comforting a friend whose partner cheated on them. A breakup.
Wow, yeah, that's heavy stuff for A1 level.
It is, but it's where you move from just talking about ideas to actually connecting with another person.
Yeah.
And here, perfect grammar is not the most important thing. Empathy is.
So the goal is to give the learner the right phrases to show they care.
Exactly. The right formula to show sympathy.
And what are those key phrases that the sources recommend?
They're like conversational lifelines. Simple things like, I'm sorry to hear that. Or a little stronger, that's terrible.
Okay.
But the best one, the one that really shows you're trying to understand, is, I can't imagine how you must be feeling.
Oh, that's a powerful one. It shows you respect how bad their situation is.
It does. It creates an instant connection.
No, after you show sympathy, the conversation moves to advice. What kind of advice do the sources suggest?
It's very practical, universal advice. Focus on yourself. Take time for yourself. Get back into your hobbies. Spend time with friends and family.
And the language here is about giving gentle commands, right? Like, take time, focus on.
Exactly. Supportive imperatives. And then there's the closure, the final message. The friend needs to hear that they deserve someone who treats you right and doesn't cheat on you.
It introduces some strong moral words there.
It does. And it finishes with that very common, maybe even cliche phrase,
Time heals all wounds.
time heals all wounds. And you might think, oh, that's such a cliche. But for a beginner, it's perfect.
Why is that?
Because it's short, it's easy to remember, and it delivers a powerful message of hope. It says this pain won't last forever, without needing a long, complicated explanation. The final message is about finding someone who loves and respects you.
That's a really great point about cliches. They're like pre-packaged units of meaning. They're efficient.
So efficient. And these conversations show that fluency isn't just about grammar. It's about being able to handle real life, including the awkward moments.
Definitely. Which leads us perfectly into the next section. It's all about essential vocabulary for managing those social situations smoothly.
Yes, managing social situations.
Yeah.
Or what we could call face-saving language. Phrases that help you get out of an embarrassing moment without making things worse.
And the classic scenario they use is something I think everyone has experienced. You run into someone you know, but you can't remember their name.
Oh, the worst feeling.
It's awful. In the example, a guy named Nick runs into Anna, who he met at a business event. He knows her, but the name is just gone.
And the phrase he uses is just brilliant for this situation. He says, your name has just slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind. Let's break that down. It's so much better than saying, I forgot your name.
So much better. It's softer. It sounds like an accident. It suggests the memory loss is temporary and crucially not intentional.
Yeah.
It's not that you didn't care enough to remember. It just slipped away.
It's a much more polite way to say it.
And the sources show how you can use this for other things too, not just names. Forgetting a task, for example.
Like an email.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so sorry. Responding to your email completely slipped my mind.
Or something even more serious, like a birthday. Oh no, your birthday was yesterday. It totally slipped my mind.
Right. And you really need a phrase like that in those moments. It's an apology and a request for forgiveness all in one.
So it's a temporary accidental memory failure. A very useful phrase.
Very. And there's another related phrase that comes up here, one that kind of protects you in advance.
Which is?
I'm terrible with names.
Ah, yes. The preemptive excuse.
Exactly. It's like you're confessing to a known weakness. By saying, I'm terrible with, you're saying, this is just how I am, it's not about you. It takes the pressure off immediately.
And the sources give a whole list of things you can be terrible with to show how useful the structure is.
They do. You can be terrible with numbers. For example, you can't even remember your own phone number.
I am 100% terrible with numbers. My phone remembers everything for me.
See? Very relatable. Or you could be terrible with directions. You know, the kind of person who gets lost all the time.
Guilty. Then there's terrible with faces.
Right. Which is interesting. It means you might remember the conversation, but not what the person looks like.
And a very modern one. Terrible with technology.
The perfect excuse for when your computer crashes. It's not my fault. I'm just terrible with technology.
So this is about more than just vocabulary. It's social strategy. How do the sources say you should actually solve the problem? In that business situation with Nick and Anna, how does he get her name back?
The advice is so clever. Instead of just standing there awkwardly, you pivot. The first trick is to offer your business card. You say, here's my card. Do you still have my contact details?
And that prompts them to give you their card in return.
Usually, yes, and their name is right there on it.
But there's an even smarter trick, which I love.
The email trick. Yes. You just ask them to write down their email address.
Why does that work so well?
Because almost everyone's professional email address has their full name in it. You know, anna.smith@company.com, problem solved, no awkwardness, and you look professional.
It's a perfect move. The sources even had that funny little story about forgetting an uncle's name at a family get-together.
Yeah, that really helps make it real for the learner.
Yeah.
You don't know if he's Uncle John or Uncle Michael, so you just keep saying, hey, Uncle, and hope nobody notices.
We've all been there. Okay, another crucial social phrase. How to end a conversation when you need to leave. Nick uses the phrase, I'm in a bit of a hurry.
In a bit of a hurry. This is essential everyday English. It means you need to go. You don't have time to talk more.
But the a bit of part is important, isn't it?
It's very important. It softens it. It makes it sound polite, not rude or abrupt. You're not just saying, I have to go now.
And the sources give a few examples of how to use it.
Right. It can be urgent, like in a taxi. Can you please drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Or it can be a polite way to get off the phone.
Exactly. Sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry. I'll call you back later. It's a perfect way to manage the end of an interaction.
And just to be clear, when we say contact details, what does that include?
Oh, good point. Contact details is the standard phrase for all that key information.
Yeah.
Your name, phone number, email address, that sort of thing. It's a must-know term for any professional situation.
Okay. The last thing in this section is about location language, which can be tricky. Specifically how the word around can mean different things.
Yes, this is so important for giving and getting directions. The sources focus on 3 key phrases with around.
The first one is around here.
Around here means close by in this general area. It's a little vague, like a tourist might ask, is there a bank around here? They mean somewhere they can walk to easily.
Got it. The next one is much more specific. Right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner means it's super close. On the next street, if someone says a restaurant is right around the corner, you expect to see it in like 30 seconds.
It implies it's very easy to find.
Very easy. And the last one is around there.
How is that different?
Around there refers to a bigger, more general area. The specific spot isn't important. You might say, I used to live around Los Angeles, around there. You're talking about the whole region, not a specific neighborhood.
Wow. So around here, right around the corner, and around there, 3 really distinct meanings from one little word.
And knowing those little differences is what starts to make you sound really fluent.
Speaking of fluency, before we get to the big strategies, there was one super simple hack the sources mentioned for sounding more natural.
Ah, yes. The greeting. So many learners stick with, how are you? Or how are you doing?
Which is fine. It's correct.
It's correct, but it can sound a little bit like it's from a textbook, a bit formal.
So what's the more casual, natural alternative?
How's it going? Just switching to, hey, how's it going? instantly makes your English sound more relaxed and less like you're reading from a script.
Such a small change, but it makes a big difference. And that sets us up perfectly for the last section, which is all about these actionable daily habits for fluency.
This is really the heart of it. This is where we move from what you say to how you can get better faster. And the main message from all the experts is, well, it's a bit of a relief, actually.
How so?
You don't need to make some huge change to your life. You don't have to move to another country or study for 8 hours a day.
It's not about that. It's about taking small, smart steps.
That's the phrase. Small things you can easily repeat, things that fit into the life you already have.
And the goal is to feel more comfortable, more natural, and more confident.
Yes, it's about consistency, not about one big effort.
And the single most powerful technique, the one that came up again and again in all the sources, is something called shadowing.
Shadowing. It sounds a bit mysterious, but it's incredibly simple and
Yeah.
so effective.
Okay, so explain it. What do you actually do when you're shadowing?
You listen to someone speaking English, it could be on a podcast, in a movie, anywhere, and you try to repeat what they say, exactly as they say it, at the same time,
Like an echo.
like a perfect echo. And there are some important rules.
Okay.
You don't stop. You don't pause to think about what the words mean. And you definitely don't look anything up in a dictionary.
So it's not about understanding the content.
No, not at all. It's about imitation. You're just copying the sounds, the speed, the rhythm, the tone of their voice. You are copying the music of English.
The music of English. I like that. So why does this work so well?
Because it trains your brain and your mouth to work together in English. A lot of learners know the words in their head, but they can't get them out of their mouth smoothly. The words come out slow and disconnected.
Right.
Shadowing is like a physical workout for your mouth. It builds the muscle memory so you can connect words together naturally with the right rhythm and intonation, just like a native speaker does.
It helps you get that natural flow.
Exactly. It leads to clearer, faster speaking. And the best part is you only need to do it for maybe 5 minutes a day to see a real difference. It's a small habit with a huge payoff.
That's incredible. Okay, so from that one specific technique, let's talk about the 5 bigger tips for living with English.
Right. This is the philosophy of creating your own immersion wherever you are.
And tip number 1 is seen as the most important. Listen to English every single day.
Non-negotiable. For at least 10 to 15 minutes. The experts say you have to make English your background music.
So you don't always have to be sitting down and concentrating.
No. You can listen while you're walking, cooking, cleaning. Just have it on.
And what if you're a beginner and you only understand, say, half of what's being said? Or even less?
That's the most encouraging part. The sources say that's totally fine. Even if you only get 30%, it's still incredibly useful.
Why?
Because you're training your ears. You're getting used to the speed and the sound of real English, not the slow, perfect English from a textbook. Your brain starts to recognize the patterns, even if you don't know all the words.
It's passive training.
That's it. Okay, tip number 2. Think in English.
This one sounds hard.
It can be, but you start small. Just one thought at a time. The reason this is so important is that it helps you stop translating in your head.
Which slows everything down.
Massively. So instead of thinking in your language and then translating, you try to form the thought directly in English.
So what does that look like in practice?
You just narrate your own life in your head with very simple sentences. When you're making breakfast, I need coffee. The sky's blue today. I'm working.
So you're not trying to have a complex philosophical debate in your head.
Not at all. Short, simple thoughts. And as you get better, the sources say you can start whispering them out loud. It connects the thought in your brain to the action of speaking.
Okay, that makes sense. Tip number 3 is linked to that idea of a workout for your mouth. Read aloud.
Yes. Reading silently is great for learning new words, but reading aloud is what builds fluency. It gets your mouth, your tongue, and your brain all working together on the same team.
What should you read?
Something simple, a kid's book, a beginner story. The goal isn't to struggle with vocabulary, it's to practice the physical act of speaking.
And there's a process for it.
A 3-step process. First, read it slowly and focus on getting the pronunciation right. Then read it again, but a bit faster.
And the final step.
Read it with expression, like an actor. This helps you practice intonation and emotion, which makes you sound much more natural.
Okay, tip 4. This is about making English part of your environment. Use English in your daily life.
This is where you stop treating English like a school subject and start using it as a real tool.
And the best example of this is so simple.
It's brilliant. Change your phone's language settings to English.
Why is that so effective?
Think about how many times a day you look at your phone. Dozens, hundreds. By making that one change, you are constantly seeing and using practical, everyday English words.
Like settings, airplane mode, brightness.
Delete, download, update. You learn these words without even trying, just by using your phone like you normally do.
Yeah.
It's that passive learning again.
It's genius. Okay, and the last one, tip number 5. Write a short diary.
And we're talking really short, 5 minutes a day, that's it. The point is to practice building simple sentences and to use the new words you've learned.
So it doesn't need to be a beautiful essay.
No, just 3 simple sentences about your day. I went to work, I was tired, I drank coffee.
That's it.
That's it. Or, it rained today, I read a book, I called my friend. This simple act, done every day, builds a really strong foundation for sentence structure.
Those 5 tips are so simple, but so powerful. And there were a couple of bonus boosters, too, for when you're feeling a bit more confident.
Right. The first one is to record yourself. Make a 1-minute voice message every day just for you to listen to.
Why just for you?
Because there's no pressure. You can talk about anything. When you listen back, you become your own teacher. You'll hear your own mistakes in pronunciation or grammar.
So you can fix them next time.
Exactly. It builds self-awareness and confidence.
And the final booster is about connection.
It is. Join an English-speaking group online, on WhatsApp, Telegram, anywhere. This gives you a safe place to actually use your English with other people.
You can write short messages, ask questions.
And it makes English feel like a real social tool, not just homework. And that's often the last mental barrier to feeling truly fluent.
We have covered so much ground today, from the basic conversation topics to these really smart daily fluency hacks.
It was a great deep dive. I think the big takeaway is that those early conversation topics, like city versus village, they aren't just random. They are designed to teach you how to argue and compare.
And we learned that social vocabulary, like slipped my mind, is all about making interactions smoother and saving face.
But I think the most important thing we found was the power of those daily habits. Shadowing to train your mouth, thinking in English to train your brain.
And just living with the language by doing simple things like changing your phone settings.
The secret really is consistency, not how many hours you study. It's about turning small, everyday actions into English practice.
Writing your shopping list in English. Listening to a podcast for 5 minutes while you wait for the bus.
All those tiny things, they add up.
So here's the final thought for you, our listener, to take away from all this.
If fluency really starts when English stops feeling like homework and starts feeling like a part of your life, what is the one small thing you can change in your routine today, right now, to make English a passive, normal part of your day?
Is it the language on your phone? The music you listen to? That 5 minutes you spend thinking before you get out of bed?
Find out one small change and just do it.
That's how it starts. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into how English fluency is built.
We hope these ideas help you speak with more confidence, starting today.
Goodbye for now.